There's certain people who just seem to consistently get the great results, do really well, and make it just seem easy. So what is it that they do that's different, and how do we find a way to replicate it? Hey, Cass,
Hey,
how
I'm
are
so
you?
excited. I'm great, thank you.
Good to see you.
Nice to be seen.
Are you having a wonderful evening in Roma?
I am. I tried to get my guest who was here to stay on and talk, but she's a little screen shy. So it's a little bit about our meeting, and I'll tell you about that. I am. So what were you saying, my
Okay.
darling? What were you saying?
Well, I was just introducing to them to the concept of successgineering. It's finding what are those little habit systems, processes that the most effective people do, and then how do we replicate it to create that success in our lives? And this show is about exploring that. I'm going to bring in people who are out there helping people realize their fullest potential, to start to share what are some of the things, some of the ways that you can really, really step up. And whoops, I'm getting a little noise there from behind you. I'm not sure what that is,
Oh, that's
but
just a motorcycle riding by. Do you want me to put in my
okay, that's a motorcycle. Okay.
They only ride by when I'm on, the computer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So I just want to introduce Cass Thomas to the viewers here. And Cass and I met, actually, it's only a few months ago. Good Lord. She is one of the most amazing facilitators for access consciousness globally, and has just been hopping around the world. She was here in Nova Scotia in the fall, and I took 3 courses from her, which were absolutely amazing. And since then, you've been to Paris, Japan, Lord knows where else, sharing your knowledge, Cass. So perhaps you'd like to introduce yourself a little bit, and what you do, and what are some of the things that you bring to the world of helping people realize a much fuller life.
Absolutely. It's always a great question, and I always answer that question in a different way. So I'm as curious as you are as to how I'll answer it today. And who am I today? I what I do is I invite people to a different possibility with their lives, with their minds, with their bodies, and with their beings, what we sometimes call spirit. But really getting into a vibrational compatibility with your environment and with your body and with the planet, and that allows you to realize anything that you'd like in your life. So I'm just about to celebrate my 52nd birthday, and
You are
I
so young.
I know I'm just so young and gorgeous and lovely, and I've
Absolutely.
I've never and I've never been more comfortable in my own skin in my life, and I recognize that the tension and the distance that so many people that we carry around in our bodies, and uh, how unnecessary that is, and how much more is possible for us and with the planet. So that's what I go around doing. I go around introducing people often to themselves. As my sister-in-law just came in to grab her bag. Yeah, so that's what I do. Say
Okay.
hello, Paula. This is my
And
sister-in-law, Paula.
Hello.
hello, Paula.
Who is you?
You're live.
Welcome to Canada and the world.
You're live.
That's the joy of Blab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So I just want to mention, for the people who are listening in, we'll give them a chance in a few minutes to ask questions if they would like. But I thought we could just start off our conversation. I'm curious, Cass, what your perspective is on this. I have an amazing feeling about 2016. I have a sense this is going to be an awesome year for so many people. There's so much bubbling up, and I can just it's like it's so intense. I can almost taste it, and I'm wondering for you what your sense is of there's a few levels to the questions. What your sense is for 2016, and what are you hearing or sensing people are asking for? What is it that they are opening up to, or what are you sensing that's opening up, and what is it that's growing in the world?
You know, Ravi, something's shifted. I mean, when I said I feel more comfortable in my skin than I've ever felt, something has definitely shifted. And it's not just with me. There's a veil that has been raised, it feels like. And people have a lot more clarity about what it is they desire, what's working for them, what's not working for them. Now, what you're asking what I do is invite people to recognize that, right? But also to choose. So we might see people making the choice to get out of here, to leave. And we might see people choosing to step into something greater. We might see people choosing to go down the rabbit hole, but it doesn't feel like it's a middle ground time at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's shifted, and I'm for one quite excited about it. You know, and I've seen that happening with people. They're looking for something, and they know they're looking for it. You know, I've been working, you know, as you say, traveling the world, doing these facilitations of consciousness with access consciousness, and there's been a lot of tourists. You know, I call them, you know, spiritual tourists
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, they go surfing, you know,
Yeah.
from one modality to the other, and they're really not interested in changing anything. I get the difference now is that people are actually interested in changing something. That's huge. That for me, that's huge, and it's exciting, and people are listening, which is quite different. People are listening. And so it's quite different when you speak and people are listening as opposed to when you speak and people are somewhere else. It's quite different. So who knows? Is it the chicken? Is it the egg? Um, is it you that's changed? Is it me that's changed? Has the world changed? Yes, 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 and yes. What if what if the chicken and the egg both came first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Does that answer your question at all? Yeah.
it actually articulates it really nicely. 2015 felt for a lot of people, I think that it was like a lot of work that would happen in 2015. You had to deal with stuff, you had to resolve stuff. And it was in some ways slogging. And what's happening now is it's like a breath of fresh air. It's an opening. It's like we're ready. We've done our work. We've done our thing. Now it's time to really get out there and step up to where we're ready. And I get what you mean about the tourists. I've seen a lot of people like that go to this modality, go to that modality, and they go only so far, I think, maybe until the real change could happen, and then they go find something else so that they don't actually have to change fully. But now it is exciting. It feels like there is more readiness to
Yeah.
step up.
And this thing about choice is really huge. I mean, I've seen people choosing more, but I've also seen them make the choice to turn around and go back. And it's thankfully it's what was has been one of the hardest things for me to want for people more than they want for themselves. But there's a I guess you would call it a peace in me in seeing that now and saying, okay, well, that's your choice. That's good.
Hmm.
Open seat. I love this Blab thing. Open seat.
Yeah.
So don't take up the oxygen someone else could be breathing. you know. So and it's a choice. So respecting people's it's cool. It's cool. One of the things that I was wanted to say though, really practically, is I had a woman here that we were talking about diet. So what are people
Yes.
looking to change?
Yeah.
Those famous New Year's resolutions. one of them is a lot of people are talking about gratitude, recognizing what you're grateful for. And if I can say that that's a great exercise, like just once a day and do it. I do it things in the morning because otherwise I get so busy. I'm a bit of a workaholic. But what are you grateful for? Recognizing that it will definitely change your vibration. But
Yep.
also being I get that people are more into their bodies. There's so much dialogue and languaging that is now commonplace. You know, I just watched something on Omeletto or something with Jada Pickett. She was talking about relanguaging.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's got over 2 million views. This interview that her son did for her. You know who she is, Jada Pickett?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's married to Will Smith. Her son interviewed her, and she was talking about the topic was being a mother and being a wife. And she said it's one of the great paradoxes of her life. And actually wrote down what she said because it's one of her greatest pleasures, and it's also something that has been quite difficult to remember her. And I guess that's what we're saying. What's different about 2016 is that people are remembering themselves in the equation of their lives and knowing that their happiness, she said, feed the well, because you have the right to be happy, and you being happy um, is um, is what is going to be the motor for everything else in your life. So it feels like people are ready to be happy.
That's actually a huge statement because normally I think people are so I think one of the biggest challenges for people in actually doing some work to really create what they want is they are caught up in the busyness and they don't give themselves a space to be happy. They don't let you can't do something that creates happy. You've got to be the happy, right? And you've got to create space to be happy.
I think and I think you've got to remember, absolutely. I love that create space. I do these monthly calls, and I just wrote that to create a space in which you can remember who you are. I think it's important to remember to be happy. There's so much of a magnetic pull towards seriousness and sadness and that kind of thing, that to remember that happiness is a choice. That's what Gary Douglas said. And nobody was interested in that. Happiness is actually a choice,
I don't
as
think
is
people want to
sadness.
admit that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they admitted that, if they acknowledge more than admitted, acknowledge that the possibility of that, then sadness is a choice as well. So I
Yeah.
must be choosing sadness if I'm not happy.
Yeah. Now, Tracy, you had tried to pop in there. If you could just pop up again, if you've got a question, we can bring you in. What that's happy and sad as a choice made me think of is what most people don't realize is, a lot of people have said how this current pope is very forward thinking and very progressive, right? But it's actually decades ago that Pope John Paul declared that there is no such place as heaven or hell, that they are merely states of mind. And yet there's so few people who know that.
Mm.
There is no such thing as heaven or hell. It's just a state of mind. And guess who controls our state of mind?
Yours truly.
Yeah.
The media.
Yeah. If you let them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, Cass, in terms of this creating space, is there something that you can share that might be of value to people in terms of how do you actually uh, create some space to do, to let yourself be and, God forbid, be happy, but at least to be as a first step?
Ravi, I mean, you said you had taken courses with me. I wrote that the 7 Steps to Flawless Communication, that book that I'll
Mm.
do a little plug. It's on Amazon, and one of the steps is about creating space. It's about expanding your zone, right? So, and we can do that just bringing your awareness to your solar plexus area,
Hmm.
and and inviting space into that zone of your body. So even with your hands in front of you, right, at your solar plexus area, and slowly at separating as your palms facing one another, slowly remembering to breathe, because that's always a good idea. Separating, separating your hands one from one another. And as you do that, imagine that you are also stretching, expanding the walls inside your solar plexus area and remembering to breathe. And with each breath out, separating just a little bit more your hands and allowing some more space into that area of your solar plexus. And separating a little bit more. Yeah. And allowing your hands actually to extend slowly as you'd like to, extend until both of your arms are completely stretched out.
Yeah.
Keeping your awareness, we're so bombarded with, lots of information all the time, but keeping your awareness in that area as you do that. It's a lovely exercise to do, and continue to breathe.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about that does, it's like a lot of meditative exercise. It's about, you can't do that and be thinking about what's happening tomorrow or what you messed up yesterday. It brings you right now into this moment because you're fully aware.
Exactly. And it's also, a girlfriend of mine said this to me today. It's also bringing the physical reality and your energetic reality in communication with one another.
Yeah.
And that's, when you talk about that, finding that space, we really, one of the things that, I talk about in the 7 steps to flawless communication is recognizing that you are a part of this planet, of this universe, that you're just a smaller version of what's going on. So that you're never alone, you're not separate. And that expanding the space, like you're talking about, that accessing and more space allows you to recognize that. When you contract and bring it in, the whole organism goes into panic. So we are much more than just our physical form. We have so much more available to us than just what's in our minds and in our physical bodies. And that we've got to remember. And I think so many more people are seeking that in 2016 than they were in 2015, than they were in 2014. So what would it take to change the vibration on the planet with more consciousness? Yeah.
Yeah, and the the thing about that being present, that's, I think, so foreign to a lot of people because they're so caught up in being in their heads. But the moment you're in your head and you're thinking about what all the things you got to do and the things that happen and all, you've left the present moment. And that's, I think, when you start to contract. And it's really about getting out of that head and being present. I mean, even if you do a simple meditative exercise, you focus on the in-breath. That takes you to the right now, to this second. And that, I think that's the power of these meditative practices, these practices to be present, it's to bring you right now. In fact, it doesn't just have to be still. I found one of the things that made me so present and let me forget the day is going to a dance class. Like when you're learning new steps and new routines, you cannot think about all the things that stressed you at work because you have to be so present to be able to master those, to be able to learn
Yeah.
those. Everything else, all the stresses of the day go poof, right?
Yeah.
And you're right here, right now.
I love that. Yeah, that's and there's that's so great that you say that. If you choose, maybe we can list some other activities that do oblige you to be present.
Hmm.
Because if you choose the dance class, or if you choose the something, for me, it's something strenuous. I've got to tell you, I years ago, I would try to do yoga and meditation and hatha yoga and meditation. I could never quiet the mind. I could never quiet the mind. Then I discovered access, but before access, I discovered Kundalini yoga,
Hmm.
and they've got you running around so much and doing exercises and stuff. You couldn't possibly be in your mind because you're too busy, changing every 3 minutes and doing something else every,
Yeah.
So what is it? What kind of exercises can you choose that get you out of your mind? And
Yeah.
that's the connection, that
That
is really, really helpful. That's the true communication.
Well, it's about being present because your conscious mind is only 5 to 7 chunks of information. You can't pay attention to any more than that. So, what is it that you can do that forces to use those 5 to 7 chunks right now? So you can't use them thinking about other stuff.
Right,
And
right.
it's I say dance classes, but it's also dancing because for me, dancing is creation. So if I'm dancing, I'm right there. It's me, my partner, and the music, and just flow, right? But
Isn't
also,
that awesome? Isn't that wonderful?
yeah.
I
And
love that.
I mean, there's nature too. I can sit on a rock by the ocean for hours and I just soak up that energy.
Not everyone's able to do that. That's what I was saying about the, different. There's so many different things out there to get you going. I think that the dance is a great idea. The guided dancing, right, is a great idea, and it also gets you in touch with your body and your breathing. So if people are interested in getting more present in their lives, that connecting with the earth is an absolutely wonderful
Hmm.
exercise. Sitting on a rock, like you say, hugging a tree,
Yeah.
listening to the sounds of the water, or watching a sunset or something. It's just a great way to connect,
Well,
for
and
sure.
runners talk about the runner's high that you get into, right? That once they get going, they're just in a rhythm, and it almost is a meditative state, the way some of them have described it to me.
Right, right. I like laughing too. I got to tell you,
I've
there's
noticed.
something there's something about laughing. I came up with this something called the Giggle Emergency Rescue Kit.
Okay.
And I think that laughing is something. They've got this laughing yoga. I think I did it once,
Hmm.
a few years ago, the laughing yoga thing. But I think that if you could, humor keeps you present as well, and in your life. And what would it take to laugh some more this year?
Yeah.
What would it take to dance some more this year? Yeah. What would it take to be more present this year than you were last year? What kind of stuff are you looking at?
Am I? Or
Yeah.
you're just asking the general question or me?
You.
Me, for me, well, certainly the dance. It's the time with my son, time with friends where I can just be. It's nothing like a kid that just brings you right into the present, right? And also, there's a whole bunch of new stuff that is coming through my work with the Successgineering work and such that is so exciting to me. The creation of that is just a blast. How about for you? What is it? What is it for you that brings more of that for you?
More of,
More laugh, more presence, more.
you know, I gotta tell you, giving less of a hoot.
That's is that the politically correct expression?
I don't know, but I'm not sure that I have the radio. I had a radio show, and so you can say swear words on it, but really, giving less of a darn,
Yeah.
let's say. And it's so funny because we think that giving less of a darn makes us less caring, but it actually makes us more caring, and it's kinder
Okay.
sometimes because you're not all. projecting onto people what you think their judgment's going to be. You're just it's more authentic. It's more authentic. So I'm really excited about being more authentically me and finding out what that is. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like 2016, like you said, 2015 was preparation for something,
Yeah.
and 2016 is like the game's afoot.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll, really. So yeah, that's what I said. I'm just like more comfortable now than ever, and yeah, I guess this is the year.
Okay.
So what? Yeah, this is the year.
So this has been awesome, Cass. Unless there's anyone coming in with questions, I think we probably will wrap things up here at this point. But I truly, truly appreciate you coming in on this. It's a delight always to work with you.
I adore you. I think, yeah, what else can we play with and have fun with together in 2016? Really,
It's gonna rock.
it's gonna
So,
rock.
so just for our listeners, just to let you know, I'm going to be putting a bit more information of this out. There's a brand new program, Successgineering Your Life, which is pulling out all of those specific habits. I talked to you about the habits, the processes, the systems that people use that are truly effective, truly passionate in their lives, pulling them out and learning from them so that we can start to create the same. If you click into Facebook and just look at facebook.com/successgineering, we've just started a brand new page there. You'll get information on that right away. Plus, you'll get information on these blabs and on the periscopes that are going to be starting up again soon. So thank you, Cass, for kicking off this show. It is a delight. Love that smile. Good Lord. And we will be talking with you very soon.
Okay, thank you, Ravi. Love you too.
Have an
Bye bye.
amazing weekend.
Thank you. Bye bye, love.
Bye-bye.